Well, greetings everybody, and once again it's time for that thing that is called MBTV News. What used to be called Metaworld News, but it is a thing. There's no doubt about it. It may be crap, it may be brilliant, but it's a thing. Yes, it is. It is a real thing, and it's been going for a long while. Have you know?
And it's
As,
our thing.
and it's our thing.
It's
Yes,
our thing.
we are our thing. We are. Never mind. Never mind. Not going there. Silly. Is it April Fool's Day? Is it a silly season? I don't know. It certainly feels like it. Yeah. Anyway, we might even, we're having a free for all this week. We have no pressing reason to finish within an hour, so who knows where we'll go. Basically, we're going to give you a roundup of the week's news. Meta world news, as we call it, because it's all about virtual worlds and interfacing with virtual reality type technologies. Not We don't really go in for the old helmet routines and stuff, except to acknowledge new haptic devices that are on the horizon, so to speak, and trends and stuff like that. We're much more interested in immersive spaces that work in 2D as well as 3D, even though the 2D are 3D, if you see what I mean. I'm at it again, aren't I?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Who's on first?
Yeah, exactly. Right, okay. So my name is Mal Burns. Mal is the first name, Burns is the second name, but on the interwebs, like most other things, I've been squashed. If you want to find me on Twitter, it's twitter.com/MALBURNS. Although we also have another feed, which is twitter.com/MetaWorld News. Again, two words squashed together as one. We are bringing to you essentially the news headlines for the week ending the 8th of May. The 8th of May being very conveniently the day we're actually broadcasting this live on YouTube. I'm recording it.
Huzzah.
What a coincidence! What a coincidence! And yeah. Now you hear another voice in the background chatting with me. It is none other than James Atlloud. Welcome, James.
Well, thank you, Mal. Here we are again. I'm looking forward to our information in our broadcast.
Yeah, I've got another song for you. Here we go again.
Oh,
Never mind.
okay. Right.
Every, everything James says to me, or quote,
Comes up with a
everything today
song.
is reminding me of a song somewhere. Anyway, I've
We
been
have a
playing
lot
it
of
a lot.
songs in our heads. We probably have a song for almost any occasion.
Indeed. There's
Yeah.
songs there
Yeah.
somewhere. They've
Yeah.
been there and ever will be there, I guess. I don't know. And yeah, songs aside. Um, oh yes, of course, credit where credit is due. James is also fiddling with knobs. You can't see that, can you? He's fiddling with the audio knobs and the video knobs and the other video switches, which allows him to bring in my desktop and my picture galleries and my offline videos and my web pages, including online videos, plus multiple angles of the in-world environment here. So we are anything but talking heads. We are definitely talking heads extended version. Yes,
Hmm.
for your delectation. Oh, I'm pushing it a bit, aren't I? Okay. Um, Not a great number of photographs to show you today, so I've just got some still things I'm going to start off with, one of which is on screen at the moment. Um, Spotify, the online site that, well, I subscribe to it anyway. I mean, for it's two-thirds of the price of a CD for 1 month of the entire world's music, except for the unfortunately in my case, because I really do like playing Neil Young and stuff, but there are a few performers, artists, whatever, who are not available on Spotify anymore. They really are too big for their boots, but it's great that one can um, call up any music you want. Now, exactly why they've built an island in Roblox, which is a comparatively recent virtual world effort, I'm not quite sure. Maybe they're going to open up Spotify to, maybe you can buy a subscription as an NFT or something. I don't know. They're up to all sorts of strange things, these companies. But it's as a cartoon goes, as you can probably tell a little bit from this picture. It's okay, but from what I can gather, that's it. There's nothing really to do there unless, I mean, I think you can probably get the video on the screen just above where SP for Spotify. I think you probably get music videos and stuff playing there, but I don't know. It's classic example of big companies jumping in to bring their brand into a new field and not always knowing quite what they're doing. Um,
Oh,
as
that never happens.
Many companies can tell you that 15 years ago they were all jumping into Second Life.
Second Life.
It was a new big thing, and no problem getting them in, no problem setting up, but they had no idea what they were going to do when they got there. Oh, well, this is fun, this is nice. You got avatars, and hey, anybody know what we should be doing? No. Okay, well, 6 months later, they give it up, of course, not realizing the potential that they missed. However, back to the thingy. Okay, inevitable, really, that the avatars were up in arms about the possible repealing of the Roe v. Wade, wasn't it? Legislation that more or less legalized abortion in the states. The Supreme Court, unbelievably, really. I mean, a lot of people were actually praising whoever leaked the information, because if it hadn't been leaked, it would probably have gone through before anybody knew. Anyway, the ladies of the United States have been out in force this week, in their organic bodies largely, but as you can see, they did appear in avatar form here, there, and everywhere too. I did have a load of other pictures that were relevant to this topic, but unfortunately the topic isn't relevant to the show, so just to say, getting in on the act. And final picture, which you don't really need because I'm about to show you the trailer for this, or the All Expo, Augmented Reality Expo site. They've already taken over showing Week in XR from Robert Fink, and they're acting as a sort of hub for a whole load of shows. But starting this Wednesday, this is new one they're doing themselves. I mean, the Scar Ghost, Tony Vitilla is part of it, as is Ori. Anyway, quite a lot of the names you've seen in the Twitter feeds and on shows. What they're actually doing is they're launching a comedy show. It's the XR comedy show, and I think really their idea is to actually bring you news, maybe a bit like we do, I don't know, but with a very humorous slant on it, which is actually a very good way of getting traction and getting attention. I mean, I've been known to do that myself. You humorize accidentally sometimes, take a laugh at something quite serious, but if you can crack jokes while you're delivering serious topics, it's not a bad thing in most cases anyway, because the light-hearted humor is engaging, if you see what I mean, whereas the news is serious. But anyway, I'm going to quickly flip over to the video screen here, and I'm just going to run you the trailer for that. It's quite quick, so here it goes.
It's AWE's Spatial Show with Ozzy Barzee, Oli Hirzo, Ori Inbar, Jimu Oriwainen, Tony Vitilla, and your host, Jerry Ellsworth.
Thank you. I'm Jerry Ellsworth, and it's an honor to be hosting the first ever Spatial Show, a show about XR industry news, events, and rumors, all with a lighthearted twist. It's probably the first ever XR show to use humor to engage and educate. And by the way, we promise not to use the word metaverse. Except for this once, just this once. That's it.
Yes, indeed. Right. Okay, why not play another one before we get going? This one's inside Dolby.io, which is a new platform. It looks sort of nice, actually. I don't know what... It is connected with the Dolby Sound Labs people. I'm not quite sure in what way. Maybe just to show off their sound technologies. Anyway, it is a beta, and Evo Henning, who many of you will know from, she's part of OMI, basically, but also I had her on an interview on our conference recently. Yeah. Anyway, she's started filming, as it were, as she pops into these. Um, she's I think what she's meant to be doing is exploring all the worlds for interoperability. So she popped into this one, and this is a recording she made while she was in there. So let's watch.
Here we go. Hi. All right, this is the swag shop inside Dolby.io. So we are jumping a little bit. Sorry about that. We are inside the Dolby online metaverse platform, as you wish to call it. This is Dolby.io. What they've been working on includes this Odyssey beta, which is their XR or metaverse platform for social experiences, and I believe there's some spatial audio capabilities here as well. I believe they've built this as a beta hangout zone to test some of their integrations. So if you hop on to Dolby.io, you might see a link, and that's going to give you a little bit of info on what this is. Looks like this is some sort of conference room. You can do some emoji style engagement. You can message people nearby. So you've got some options to announce, and then you've got some other things here about your stream and your participants and who's here. So I can see someone named Colton is here, and I can maybe engage with them, and then I can do a couple of other things like photo mode, right? So that will give me myself without the avatar. Now the avatars are made in Ready Player Me. So what we saw before with the avatar in pink is one of my Ready Player Me avatars that was just ported over. That is pretty easy to customize from within their platform as well. So if you've never made a Ready Player Me avatar, you can just jump in and do that pretty fast. And it looks like there's some other meeting zones and different things that they've been prototyping over there. You know, some of that may not be open to the public yet, or looks like in development, right? So that's why we're seeing those kinds of construction walls for this experience up. That's about it. I think if you want to check it out yourself, this is where you're going to go, to Dolby.io, and that's their experience zone.
Well, Eva just mentioned that the avatars in there are actually made with Ready Player Me, which is they're basically just do it from photographs you upload via the web, and they create the avatar for you, and you can customize it a bit, and you can use it in hundreds of different worlds, and a lot of the newer worlds, especially smaller experiments like this, obviously using that universal avatar as your avatar, simply on the basis is easier, and of course it's a step towards, for us anyway, it's a step towards interoperability. One of the platforms that actually is just is a newer one is called Spatial XR. Has also just embraced Ready Player Me avatars, and we got a little clip of that. This was accompanied by a headline saying, "We've got legs." Don't you know it? So that's actually not Spatial IO, which is a different web spatial thing. This is Spatial XR. You can get an app on the App Store at Apple and Google Play, and you can get it on the Zuckerberg helmet. Yeah, they're ready to go. Of course, it wasn't just Ready Player Me avatars that they introduced recently. They've also introduced a load of blockchainy sort of things. I think they're trying to get into the act of, virtual commerce using the blockchain like a lot of people are. And I think personally, I think that may well be a mistake because persuading people to go into the virtual world is difficult at the best of times. Persuading them to embrace blockchain finance at the same time might just be pushing it if you're after Joe Average kind of thing. Anyway, just a thought there. Next up, I've got a snip from Improbable. It's just the guys at Improbable promoting themselves, really.
You're writing a book on why we need the metaverse. What do people misunderstand about the metaverse?
I think people misunderstand that it's about technology. Our society is already full of living ideas. Culture, sport, history, religion, music. These are all ideas that enrich our everyday lives. And my argument is that the metaverse is just an extension of that. It's just taking those things, infusing them with technology, and giving us the chance to have a greater participation in that cultural world.
There we go. Right, this next one is oh, what the hell? We got time. This is 5 minutes actually, but it's a little virtual tour demo of a platform called Arcadia. Reminds me of Vibella a little bit actually, but it could well be based on their technology. But let's have a look. It's rather strange the way their camera works here. It's almost as if it's locked in goes sideways. Like trolleys on a film set,
I'm also getting lulled to sleep.
Yes, they well, to be honest, I'd rather a clip with this kind of music.
Yeah, it's very relaxing.
Metal, Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's swings and roundabouts, isn't it? You want your audience to relax and feel good and make it enticing. On the other hand, you don't really want them to fall asleep and miss it all.
But are there any avatars in this world?
I don't know. I mean, it's looking very sort of sterile and naked here, actually, to be honest. I mean, it's obviously got these placards and things up, which suggest to me that there would be avatars if there was a meeting or something. Or maybe people just walk around without an avatar. But well, how would you see anybody else if there isn't an avatar? I really don't know. Still. Okay, well, I think we'll leave it there. You've really got the gist of it. I'll flash forward, but I don't think you're going to get anything more in the 5 minutes that we haven't already got. Yeah, there we are. Oh, they've run that. Yeah. In case you didn't gather, that music is on a loop. It's just like,
oh yeah, I heard the repeat.
I first fast forwarded to the very point where there's. Okay, the very final one I've got actually is really lovely. It's just under a minute, and it's an advert for Manus Quantum Meta Glove. Yeah, Meta Gloves. Yeah, but the idea that you can use your hands and interact. But if this doesn't draw you in, I don't know what would. Great. Love the. I think there's an extended version of that actually, because there's a scene that I seem to recall where it showed the gloves and the woman playing the violin simultaneously. You know, so you could see her hands moving in both places in sync. But you get the idea anyway. Nice bit of music to go with that too. So yeah, that's in for our kind of video clips for the week. So starting the show in the most exciting way possible, only to continue it as we head back into what you might consider the boring territory of the web pages. Yeah, okay. All the excitement's over, but we do have a roundup of online videos coming up in a bit later. Meanwhile, we're looking at the web pages of the week, and starring in that comedy show, come Wednesday, amongst others, is Anthony Patillo, otherwise known as the Scarred Ghost, and otherwise known here as a sound effect. Oh, good old James, he was quick on that. Right. So this was delivered on May the 2nd, early in the week, and it's a roundup of the previous week, so really over a fortnight ago. He does actually start the hang on, put something away there. Right, the actual post by saying he's been sick. It sounds like he must have COVID or something. He says he's getting better. He'll need days to recover. I feel like I was hit by a train.
Oh, no. Okay.
I'm doing my best to work and don't want you to miss this appointment with the news roundup, so I prepared it anyway. Just warn you that my usual commentaries may be a bit shorter. Well, that don't think anybody would complain about that. Okay, so here's his top news of the week. Interesting, the Zuckerberg worlds have all disappeared this week except for Horizons, the Facebook Horizons. They had one called Venues, and they had another one, Spaces or something, and they've merged them all into Horizons rather than. So while the blogger said, Facebook makes virtual worlds simpler, sort of. I think was I think actually it's a money saving effort rather than actually designed to merge them together. But anyway, okay, Snap, the camera thing, your glasses and all that sort of stuff. Well, they've got drone services and various other AR services now. We'll come to that on some of the other online videos later. Meta has opened physical stores. This is where you can play with Zuckerberg helmets before buying them, I guess. Cambria is something else coming from Zuckerberg territory, and it's going to be a pro headset that can substitute for your laptop, and it's going to be very expensive, they say. Interestingly, even though there isn't a price on it yet, it's going to be expensive apparently. 5 Mars Camtrap we looked at last week. We had a little piece on that then. Varjo's Reality Cloud. I don't think there's a few incidental things he covers here that we may not have covered on last week's show, but basically this is for the week ending May the 2nd, which is the beginning of this past week. Everything following, however, is our actual posts that have come up during the course of the week and cover the week, basically. Glad to see that our friend Kent Bye, Voices of VR, is back. We have a few here. In fact, I better start the right way around. Podcast 1080 is about Targo's stories, pushing forward immersive 360 video storytelling. And number 1081 is using VR to capture memories of home with Sungwan Lee's. No, I'm not pronouncing that. And 1082 is Roman Papak's mixed reality live music performance and an art history perspective on XR music. So 3 basically in the course of the week. All 3 of them, they look very alike, don't they? You can find them all at voicesofvr.com, voicesofvr.com, and Voices of VR as a podcast, which is basically you can find on virtually any podcast platform on the planet. It's been going a long while. Well, actually, it hasn't been going that long, but there's a lot of them. If you see what I mean, we're well over the 1,000th edition, as you can see. But you will be able to find it anywhere. But best still, you can go to voicesofvr.com. You get the odd sort of text add-on, and basically a button where you can actually play it. Behind the scenes there, I'm removing these from my list so that I don't get confused and do them again. And coming down to the next thing here, edsurge.com, edsurge.com, asks whether the metaverse can improve learning. And very, very sort of iffy sort of answer. New research finds some promise. They're also not super enthusiastic, and they're not denying it does either. It's sort of, it's an article that says, well, maybe this metaverse shows some promise. But anyway, this one for the educators, basically. And you'll find this at edsurge.com, edsurge.com. And what more can I say about that? Very little indeed. Right, and right, back to the last one here from Monday. This is the simplest way to explain the metaverse. Really? Well, actually, it's not bad. We can do it in 3 words, while some experts provide larger context and clear up some major misperceptions. And I'll ask somebody today what it is, and you're bound to get a confused look or the wrong answer, as market researchers actually found. Anyway, they look at this, they tell you all about it from their point of view. We've seen a lot of websites do this. Good roundups are good roundups, bad ones are bad ones, and they're trying to look at everything here. There's certainly it's certainly not a PR for Zuckerberg, that's for sure. So there you go. Everything, most important thing to remember, everything having to do with the metaverse is a fluid and evolving conversation. As Tony Parisi says, nobody knows how this is going to play out. That's the bit at the end there. Anyway, interesting little read there, if you want it, and you'll find it at insidehook.com. So that's INSIDEHOOK.com. And yeah, nice to find some generally focused articles. Right, now, am I going to go up the list here, or I'm going to have to go up from the bottom, which is always confusing, but I want to get things in the right order, basically. Working for the beginning of the week through, we should be on Tuesday with this one. This is a post, no, it's Monday, May 2nd? No, it's Monday again, never mind. Anyway, this is a post that you'll find at vrscout.com, vrscout.com. And they're talking about hologram voicemails are here thanks to asynchronous reality. Yeah, it seems only like yesterday we were saying, holograms, they're finally here. Well, now holograms are here with voicemails. It's going rather quickly, isn't it? Again, their silly little video is a tiny little window, which isn't helping at all, is it? So you'll have to go here if you want to play that. But anyway, they talk with Christian Holtz, who's a researcher, and who continued to talk to them about the mind-bending technology. Asynchronous reality is the individual's perception of time and happenings in a shared spatial environment. It reconciles the opportunities of mixed reality to have any environment, any object, any interaction, anywhere without the need for co-located person-to-person interaction that we require, particularly in productivity scenarios, but also in social settings. So they've got a demo and all sorts of things here, and you can read more about it if you wish to scroll down the page like I'm doing endlessly. You will find it, oh darn, sorry, I've got pop-ups here, at vrscout.com, vrscout.com. A quick word for if you're writing down these links. You'll find all these links in my Twitter feed that I mentioned at the top of the show, twitter.com/ /Mal Burns, MALBURNS. And if you click on the titles there, you can be sure that the link will take you to the actual page that I'm showing you and reading now. Obviously, if you simply go to vrscout.com, in the case of this one, you'll end up at the home page, and I can't tell you whether, I have no idea how easy it is to actually find the articles. So remember, the Twitter feed does give you direct links if you need them. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter, so you get them all daily as they come in, kind of thing. Right, moving on from this one, another popular website. This is Engadget.com. engadget.com. And this is, I did explain to you at the beginning of the show where we had another version of this picture. This is actually the better one, really. Spotify, the music streaming service, basically, have opened up an island, and it's in Roblox. And that's what it looks like, complete with a sort of, presumably, music videos on that screen there. Spotify's announced its venture into virtual worlds is coming via Roblox, and an interactive space that they've called, guess what, Spotify Island. Oh, gosh golly. I've never thought of a name like that, really. Right, the setting is a place where users create music, chill in virtual venues, and get access to exclusive virtual merchandise. And it's debuting today. And you can create your own music and sounds via beatmaker stations powered by Soundtrap, an online recording platform that Spotify bought in 2017. And blah, blah, blah. No mention here directly, but I thought I read somewhere that they are trying to get into the blockchain sort of act as well. So that we will see what we will see, obviously. Right, so engadget.com for that article, engadget.com. Moving on, this is the site for this is tvtechnology.com, all one word, tvtechnology.com. And they're actually looking at, well, this says 9 days ago, but I only got the link this week anyway. They were looking at AR, augmented reality, virtual reality, and extended reality, and mixed reality, and the way they're all being used together to create new realms for production. Now, this is really if you're into making videos and broadcast and all that stuff. But also if you fancy going into, you're young and fancy going into that field, it's got a lot of background information here, I guess.
Well, who would want to produce a program in virtual reality?
Oh, you.
Go figure. Yep.
Yeah, but not me.
Right.
There is a point. There is a point here, actually. But each to all. I mean, you, James and I have absolutely no idea what kids who are 17 years old now are going to be doing when they're 30.
Oh my goodness! Right.
And how much of this will be an assumption by then. That's still. That's still 23 years away, if we're still here, Anyway, yeah, and BBC tennis, that actually looks to me like their virtual news studio, which has just been hijacked a bit to make it look tennisy with tennis on the screen. But, how to recycle your existing virtual environments, basically. It's like behind us here. There's another set for another show, which can be literally changed at a moment's notice to accommodate different shows. Yeah. Anyway, it's all behind the scenes stuff, and an insight into like the Unreal Engine, particularly, is being used in cinematic context. Unity to a lesser extent, but it's all technology moves, and it moves fast. So. Don't ignore it. Right, so as I say, you'll find that at tvtechnology.com. No space there, just TV Technology, all one word, in the usual squashing fashion. Right, Kronos.org. Now, Kronos are very active in the interoperability of things, common standards and things like that. They've been going for a fair old while. I mean, the likes of Apple, Microsoft, Google, the big companies are all part of them too, but as are a lot of smaller companies, and indeed Evo, and we were sort of talking earlier, and the IMA are actively involved working with the Kronos group too. And this is have I got this? Oh right, now this is over if I remember rightly. What date on this? Just says April. WebGL meetup they were having. Darn. Okay, I may need to just get to their webpage actually rather than the reader here. There we are. Okay, yeah, this is it. Okay, it's khronos.org, and that one I had up was actually okay. They do that live. I've now approved the cookies. Okay, so April 27th was that one, and oh Lord, we're now back on. There we are. Okay, if you go to the actual web page, you can actually, even though these events are all over, you can actually get to recordings of them. This was actually the whole point of giving you this link anyway, right? So although the invites are passed, then they're quite interesting talks that you can get to, and obviously you can bypass all the things about register because it's all over. And that's basically just a list of what you can play back, so to speak. Okay, let's move along from that. Okay, this one's for, interesting information for everybody, but especially the Brits out there. This is posted at xrtoday.com, xrtoday.com. And this Portsmouth, who are it's a big sea town in the south of England, naval centre too, I think very much. Their university has opened a dedicated XR centre, so if any of you young folk out there are thinking of applying to university, come. Well, it must get near the time when you're going to have to start applying, I guess. Then starting for next autumn, I guess, you might want to investigate what's happening at Portsmouth. The Cutting Edge Centre for Developing Extended Reality content opened its doors on Wednesday. That's this Wednesday gone by, May the 5th. And it aims to be a next generation immersive experiences facility, providing an entire suite of tools to back virtual, augmented, and mixed reality technology. The actual centre was founded in October last year. Again, I love Apple Safari. They really don't know how to make they reformat all their videos to never mind. This is one I should probably download at some point, but obviously not now. Well, actually, come to think of it. Pardon me for doing stuff live here, but that is one I think I would want to keep offline anyway. So, where are we? Okay, on its way down. Interview with the Dean of Creative Studies and all that sort of stuff. The new virtual space race takes off. A few of the extra bits of news at the end there, really, I guess. Okay. XR Today, xrtoday.com, and that post was on May the 5th. Again, you can get straight there via my Twitter feed. And get another one we have up now again. This is organix.org. AUGANIX.org. And I may have covered this last week from another site. I can't quite remember. But basically, any NVIDIA, the people who make your graphics card, and Stanford University are collaborating on a research project that packs VR display technology into ultra-thin holographic glasses. Now, that's not the photograph I was looking at. There we are. wearable prototype. They look like normal glasses. I don't know whether you can see that where my mouse is. It's a rather small picture, and I'm not. I can't zoom in from here, so that's unfortunate. But that appeals to me. They look like normal glasses. Wearable prototype. So if Nvidia and Stanford can get that going. Nvidia have been quite a lot in the news this week. They're getting a lot of criticisms for some of their manufacturing and pricing policies, and they're denying, which is a bit silly really, they're denying that their strategy has anything to do with the fact that a lot of people recently have been buying Nvidia video cards for blockchain mining as opposed to anything to do with graphics. Basically, the processors on these cards are ideal for mining purposes. But of course, Nvidia is saying no, we're a graphics company. We don't produce mining kit, do we? But it's give them a tool and people find out what to do with it. And if it works, it works. Okay, so that was organics.org. Now we're looking at spatial again, and this is the one we had a little clip of near the top of the show. Basically, this is Spatial XR, not Spatial IO, so don't get confused. This is their partnership with Ready Player Me, and the avatar was with legs. Gosh golly. And, Spatial co-founder Gina Lee added that Spatial believes deeply in open and interoperable standards, so we're excited to adopt an avatar solution that enables users' identities to persist across experiences. So they're pushing that side of it greatly. Yeah, here we are. Now, basically, Spatial has seen use cases, blah, blah, blah. They have existing partnerships with NFT marketplaces, OpenSea, Super Rare, and Rareable. Now, of course, NFTs are available to view and purchase directly within Spatial, etc., etc. So you may be able to get a free avatar, and you may find it's cross-platform and open source, as it were. But that said, no such rules apply when you come to NFTs for purchase, which you can purchase. Are you going to spend £5,000 in an NFT to get something in? Well, it's the endless question. People are asking it all over the place. Reports are, I take no delight in this really, but reports are now predicting that a fairly rapid decline, in a lot of these blockchain things. Too many people being ripped off, and wrong people making a lot of money. Who knows? But especially in the UK here, this is now the Chancellor Jack, the money taxman, and the laws now explicitly include this because the Chancellor in Britain wants. Well, actually, the former Health Secretary Matt Hancock is the other one. They want Britain to be leading in not blockchain, not Bitcoin. What's it? Cyber. Oh God, can't remember the name. But anyway, the cyber. Yeah. No, not Dogecoin either. But crypto coin. Yeah, okay, basically. Yeah, Matt Hancock is saying Britain's going to lead in crypto, and they don't really say crypto coin or anything; just say crypto, and sort of all the public goes, "Wow, with new tech that Britain's going to lead in," And we're going to, we're going to Mars too, because we're turning an island off Scotland into a spaceport. Boris is trying to get Arm, to come back and list in London on the stock exchange instead of in America, because it's a British company, and it's technology. So Boris is bouncing when you say the word technology. When you talk to him about it, he hasn't a clue what you're talking about, but he bounces all the same. All right. back to the main thread. Just the main thread here. Yes, organics.org again. AUGANIX.org is the site for this article. And next we have XR Today again. In fact, xrtoday.com. And this is just giving you 6 things you can expect from Magic Leap 2. Magic Leap hasn't been cheap, and it was going on for years in sort of nobody knew anything about it except investors. When it finally came out, it got lukewarm reception, but they're now mostly because of stiff competition from Microsoft HoloLens. But they're still after the ergonomic and truly wearable device that will work as a standalone headset without any wired or bulky hardware. And they're still at it. So Magic Leap 2 is on its way. And it'll be released later this year. I think that is more or less what it looks like. But I think that's the version 1, and this is the version 2. I'm not... The out of focus one, that is version 1. So anyway, just a roundup of what it is and what one can expect from it. This is XR Today who've posted this, by the way, so it's not a PR from Magic Leap themselves, but always worthy of interest because a lot of talk about the M word and all that sort of has changed since Emperor Zuckerberg sort of brought out his various helmets. And it's very easy to think that, I can't remember what they're called now. The Quest, the Quest helmet. That's it. Is the state of everything. Even though Facebook apparently going to work on more, that are going to be a bit more expensive. But there is Magic Leap here too, and of course HTC brought out their own a couple of weeks ago. So. In a few months' time, it would be interesting looking back at the variety available. It certainly sounds like Magic Leap here is going to be one of the most expensive at like probably $2,500 US. So I don't really know it's going to be super consumer orientated, but it may well be a big success in the enterprise. And there's things in the enterprise often trickle down into the creative economy and the consumer economy. Prices come down if they're very popular and mass manufactured, etc., etc. So we will wait and see. Anyway, xrtoday.com for that little roundup about Magic Leap. And then we get to the heavy stuff we normally have at the end of the week. This week in XR, this is Charlie Fink's column at Forbes. This is Charlie looking back on the week, rather like we're doing now. He has a different perspective on this, actually. Bored Ape, Metaverse Frenzy, raising money. Tower Venture Fund, Kinetics raises money. It seems to be, I don't think he's an investor of any sort, Charlie, but he really loves reporting on people who are getting lots of money. Presumably, that's the metric for success, which I would not necessarily agree with. Spatial partner again. So a lot here that I've covered, a lot that may be of incidental interest. So if you go to Forbes.com, you can find Charlie Fink stuff fairly easily from the homepage there. But do remember to go to twitter.com/Mal Burns and click on the link you want to get to the actual link as opposed to the home site of the website. All right, moving on to another site, xrmust.com, xrmust.com. And this is about the New Images Festival coming in Paris in June. The maturity of the XR creation is felt in its diversity of proposals and the interest of cultural venues worldwide. This is a quote from Ellie Levasseur of New Images, which is the company behind the New Images Festival. Figures. That's a photograph, not a virtual environment, I hasten to add, but it does include virtual stuff. And that's a cartoon, not a virtual environment. Come on, give me a virtual environment here somewhere. Oh, yeah, definitely virtual. Okay, halfway there. Anyway, there's too much to read there anyway, but it's all about the New Images Festival, which is coming up literally in a month's time. And you'll find this at xrmust.com, xrmust.com. XR as in extended reality, of course. Right, remove that item. Now, Tony Viteur, the Scar Ghost, he's obviously feeling a little bit better at the end of the week because he's come up with a post about something called Meta. No verse on the end of this, of course. And the next 24 months crucial for its leadership. Didn't know it had any leadership, but never mind. They're currently the market leader in VR. No company gets even close, but probably the first headset that has crossed 10 million sold units and accounts for more than 50% of VR users, without even being native PC VR device. Blah blah blah. Okay, that was quite interesting. Evolution of technology from 1917 to 2017. It's all a bit out of date anyway, though, isn't it? Evolution of VR usually compared to one of the other technologies, etc. So comparing the evolution of VR, like the history of things like Netscape versus Internet Explorer, and in fact neither of them won because it's now Google Chrome that leads the way. So the especially as Zuckerberg has now started saying, well, this probably won't come to fruition until about 2030. Well, that's 8 years away, and 8 years is a hell of a long time in tech. It won't necessarily, take too much to for him to lose the helmet crown, so to speak. Anyway, this covers a whole lot of other stuff, as Tony is prone to do. He's, he can't be that ill anymore because of the length of this article. He's back on form, so it's probably one of those quick COVIDs or something that knocked him out for a couple of days. So, if you're watching this, Tony, do get well soon if you haven't already got well, so to speak. And you find this, of course, at thescarghost.com, where we always say, cue the music. Indeed. SKARREDGHOST.com. And Scar Ghost rules. Okay. Now this is a link to a site called Vibella.com, VIRBELA.com. Now Vibella are a platform. They have a web they do a web platform too. Oh God, I've forgotten the name already. But Vibella is actually a sort of virtual world app, but they also provide versions of the standard Vibella campus, to all sorts of, anybody who wants to hold an event there, really. For a price, I gather. A lot of the staff, incidentally, of Vibella used to work at Second Life, so there is actually a strong historic connection here. It's a very simple, easy to access. You can either launch the standalone client from the web, or you can they as even more lightweight. It's not called Vibella, but they have another web platform that's on the web directly. Spaces.io or something like that. Anyway, the reason I brought up this one is that they've actually launched one of their standalone ones they've launched this week is called Mind Gym. And I thought this is quite exciting. It's not actually a fitness, it's an interactive fitness space that concentrates on different types of brain training. So it's not, it's not the Keep Fit with Nancy video gone interactive or something. It's all about brain training and stuff. So anyone can check it out by entering Vibella's open campus and teleporting to the Mind Gym. You have to download Vibella, of course, and as I say, go to vibella.com where this article is and you'll be able to find the download links. It's a very quick and easy download, and it's also very easy to launch. It's not a graphically rich environment like OpenSim or Second Life or any of the new meshy sort of platforms. It's very simple, cartoony in many ways, but if anything fits the bill of fast and easy, Vibella is it. Whether you're using the actual client or whether you're launching the client from the website, which the two are interlinked, it is fast and it's very easy. And I was in there with a discussion on the future of work. They do quite a few of those recently. They've had Philip Rosedale in there quite a few times, in fact. Talking on panels. And I think the head count of avatars for that discussion was about 400. So it's all in one region, but it's architected to be to sustain a lot of rather simplistic avatars, but they're still avatars. I've got red hair as opposed to the person next to me. Although the costumes look pretty much the same, that kind of thing. But it's meeting and engagement and stuff like that that's important. And of course, it's fully fleshed out with media. So if you're having a lecture in there, that you can view the PowerPoints or videos or whatever is brought in to show on the screen. So I quite like Vibella. So it's also nice to turn up at the platform where everybody seems to know you, even though I don't know any of them. Mostly because of the Second Life historical thing, that is. Right, okay, so it's called the Mind Room, and you want to go to Vibella, which is VIRBELA.com, if you want to get the client there. Okay, moving on up, and we're getting near to the end, as it were. Very near, in fact. And this is a Oxford Health BRC AC UK. This is not fun, is it? Right, Oxford Health. Actually, it's all one word for OXFORDHEALTHBRC. So it's Oxford Health BRC, one word, dot, and then NIHR dot AC.UK. So it's an academic UK address. I'm afraid to say. Anyway, breakthrough success in the provision of automated psychological therapy using virtual reality. And this dates back to the 6th of April, but again, it's just, well, I guess being an academic post, it's taken its while to find its way to my feeds. Anyway, in the landmark development, psychological therapy has been automated in virtual reality. The user is guided by a virtual coach. There's no need for a real-life therapist, meaning treatment can reach many more patients at home, etc. Largest ever clinical trial of VR for mental health was published in the Lancet Psychiatry. It's a doctor's magazine, The Lancet, basically. The automated therapy was shown to work well for patients diagnosed with psychosis. Well, what else? Biggest benefits were experienced by those with the most challenging psychological problems. In other words, the more problems you've got, the better VR fixes them. Get the idea, don't you? Anyway, academic or not, good news, I guess, for people suffering from psychosis or similar things, really. And the way the immersion of VR can, take you away from real world problems and maybe help cure them is intriguing. Okay, so yeah, that's follow the direct link on my Twitter feed if you missed the one I read out. I'm not going to read it out again; it is too cumbersome. Sorry. Right, final webpage here of the week, so to speak. 7 essential ingredients of a metaverse. Right, this site for this is future.a16z.com. So that's future.a16z.com. When I say 16, I mean the numerals. No, you don't need to spell it. Right, and there's been a lot of buzz about the metaverse since its coinage in the 90s. Well, they got that right, at least. It's not that new. Even more so after Facebook changed its name to the M-word. The monkeyverse. That's what it must be. Right. Is this a bit of opaque marketing speak? What is a monkeyverse exactly? How does one define the term, and where does one draw the line between a monkeyverse and, say, just another virtual world? These are common questions that people ask about the monkeyverse, so we thought we'd outline how we see it and how the monkeyverse intersects with Web3. In many ways, the monkeyverse is just another name for evolving the internet. Okay. I gotta slip off if I try to continue. Right, to be more social, immersive, etc., and economically sophisticated than what we have today. Blah blah blah. Key dimension is comparing two visions versus the open and closed concepts of the metaverse. So um, these are supposed to be, I suppose, the basic differences. The open metaverse is decentralized, whereas the virtual world closed ones are centralized. There's a lot of debate at the moment as to whether something can actually be part of an open metaverse and still be a walled garden. Because if you're going to use the metaphor, just think of it of the state of the gate. If the Berlin Wall is the walled garden, then it's not an open metaverse. But if it's just a fence with several gates and they're not locked, then it's part of the open metaverse, presumably. There's no to say you can't buy things in one place and take them to another, sort of. So a world that puts a wall around itself or a fence around itself or technically ring fencing for a particular reason could well still end up being part of an open metaverse. It's rather like here in OpenSim, the technology that runs the regions is open, but it doesn't, but some people can run free for all regions, private regions, other companies run commercial regions. They all live happily together on the same, interoperable, set of code. It's interesting there. There could be a fairly closed virtual world that whether that is fully centralized is another matter. Also, of course, even in the open metaverse, it's becoming rapidly obvious that although the open metaverse itself needs to be decentralized, there's probably going to have to be centralized systems that plug into it. For example, a telephone directory. If you want a directory of locations anywhere in the metaverse, anywhere in any virtual world, places to go, then the directory and the system that publishes would in fact probably be centralized. It might have competition. In other words, you might have a yellow pages and a blue pages and a red pages, and you choose which directory or search engine you go to. But the concept of being able to search all that information almost requires that somewhere along the line there must be centralized servers handling it, even though they're handling the links to decentralized worlds and places. So if that makes sense, one can't always use the exact definitions of these things. Anyway, after that, that's the structure. Property rights are cryptographically enforced in the open metaverse, and terms of service in closed worlds. Code is open source, virtual world insiders only. Data is transparent in the open world. It's opaque in the other. Ownership is community based in the open metaverse, whereas it's corporate based in the virtual world thing. And identity, interestingly, unbundled and user controlled in the open metaverse, whereas centralized identity providers in the virtual world closed. But I don't see it could be possible to have a centralized identity provider that actually, is is centralized, but it's actually providing a surface to the decentralized ones. So anyway, this is actually a very interesting graph. I actually thought we already, I thought I already had it in the picture department. But I didn't, did I? So let's just grab it for future reference. That's going to be a good slide. Right. Okay, so it goes into all this, and these are the ingredients, of course, in number. Decentralization 1, property rights 2, self-governing authorities 3, composability 4, openness, open source 5, community ownership 6, and 7 is social immersion. There's, you read these things and you think, well, there's a lot more to it than this, and of course there is, but it's still worthwhile having these, template prompts, to base discussion on, if nothing else. So, as I say, you'll find this at future, future.a16z.com, and the 16 is in numerals, not words. Right, okay. So that is the last of the direct links, and finally we're going to move to my other video department, so to speak, as opposed to the one we started with, which is of course my feed at Mastodon, which I maybe quite a lot of people have been joining Mastodon recently because of the Musk taking over Twitter. I like Mastodon a lot, but it's not as easy to use as Twitter, and there aren't that you can. I've had a few new people join in now, because they've given me addresses and I've followed links. But it, I mean, it's not more selective or anything. It's as open, well, more open than Twitter, but it's not as easy to just join. Anyway. So this is the link to me. Mastodon.social is the server complex I'm on. So it's actually mastodon.social // and then at Metaworld, at being the symbol, and then Metaworld. Although as you can see when you get there, it's my name. So and this is where I plonk a lot of the anecdotal videos that sort of a duplicate of this ends up on my Twitter feed, by the way, so don't think you've got to have to dig up Mastodon just to get it. If you follow the links to my Twitter feed, you'll see all these there too. Quite a lot of new stuff this week, actually, including 4 hours ago, Inside the Metaverse, the evolution of the internet, at YouTube. I'll give you a quick skim of these from here. This starts off with the real world.
You walk in here, there's always some discussion going on.
When David heard the diner was for sale, he knew he had to jump at the opportunity.
I saw Cosmos come up for sale right away.
This guy actually bought a diner
from you.
As the new owner of Cosmos, David wants to expand the business and its brand, but not with another bricks and mortar location. Instead, David is heading into a whole new virtual world, launching Cosmos into the metaverse.
This is a diner. Come on.
Hi, Kayla. Welcome to the metaverse.
So how exciting is this? We're meeting in the metaverse. Is this your first interview in the metaverse?
Yeah, definitely first interview in the metaverse. Pretty cool. I see your avatar.
Yeah, this is my...
Okay, this is 20
Some
minutes.
owned by companies, and others that are community-driven. For example, Decentraland, Sandbox, and Horizon Worlds. In these virtual worlds, you can hit...
Okay, you get the gist of that. It's if you want a 20-minute film that is actually a sort of... I don't know about the diner, but I mean, it's like, to be honest, in Second Life, for example, there is a virtual incarnation of an English pub, which happens to be downstairs from me in the real world, and has in the past been used as a link where Second Life was on the big screen in the pub, and the pub was on the big screen in the virtual pub in Second Life. So I remember standing in front of the giant screen in the pub and actually talking to somebody live in the virtual world, as well as other people in the pub. So we were able to, with voice, we were able to link the real world with the virtual world. So everybody who lived in London was in the real Greyhound pub, and everybody else in the world was in the virtual pub, all meeting together. So that seems to be a rather small diner, to be honest. But in principle, I suppose you can, use the ideas there. But inside the metaverse and the evolution, etc., that video does go on into other things, like looking at all the worlds out there. It's sort of they only use the guy in his diner as an introduction, really. This one, I don't know why the embed hasn't come up, so I'll have to go to YouTube to show it. But this is quite fun.
Mark Zuckerberg has had a couple of rough months, but he's planning a comeback. Even though his company's stock is down nearly 50%, he's not worried about it. See, Zuck is in a very unique position. Even though Meta has lost hundreds of billions of dollars in value since the peak of the metaverse hype wave, they aren't taking their foot off the gas. Zuck is extremely motivated to build the metaverse, and he knows it's not going to happen overnight. He has a chip on his shoulder right now, and if he can pull it off, he'll make every YouTube video about him struggling look ridiculous in hindsight. So what's his plan? Well, Zuck has a few tricks left up his sleeve, but let's start with artificial intelligence. If you ask a random person what technologies will be most important in the metaverse, they will almost always say,
yeah, okay, we've got 12 minutes on this one too. Okay, because it doesn't come through onto my feed properly, if you're interested in this one, it's published by somebody called John Coogan. That's well, I might as well subscribe myself. That's the YouTube user who's posted that. Yeah. Oh, another person with a Discord. Anyway, yeah, I need to get back to the real page here. Okay, shame about that one actually. Okay, starting at the top again. That was Inside the Metaverse. Yeah. This one is Zook's Revenge. A good name for a video. Now the next one is a bit odd. I'll just check it hasn't changed. Right, no, it hasn't. So this is actually, although it's at YouTube, this week's edition it's weird. It's an audio cast. The interesting thing is the guest is Brad Oberweger, who's the executive chairman of Linden Lab these days. Not with Philip or with any of the normal Second Life Lindens, just Brad himself. Kind of interesting. Goes on for 50 minutes, but there's no video. And what is very weird about it is they're actually talking as if there is video. In other words, I think Charlie at the beginning mentions, Ted being in an exotic-looking location or something, and Jed says, no, it's like a fake background because I'm on the road. So obviously they were filming. But where the film is anybody's guess. What's ended up on YouTube is an audio. But nevertheless, it's sort of largely an audio listen anyway. So, anyway, and interesting to see Brad popping up as a guest on something, because he's sort of behind, has been, but he's an investor originally, so, but he's definitely taken interest in what Linden Labs are doing these days. Right, Between Realities is back. They did take a week off last week because of one of them being away or something, but they're back this week. Looking at all sorts of stuff. Their guest is Atom Bomb Body. Right, earlier in the week, this is a LinkedIn masterclass. I suppose it's masterclass, sorry. Maybe it was initiated on LinkedIn. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, Doug Thompson, design writer, who describes himself as a metaverse architect, was interviewed by the DigiCore Labs. Somebody called Wayman Kujipas or whatever. So quite interesting. Doug, of course, I interviewed him at the end of last year, but I had him on the panel more to the point. But you remember him for Metanomics and a whole load of things in Second Life back in the day. Okay, there are 2 new shows this week. I don't know where they're going to go, but and this doesn't even include the comedy one we started off promoting. This is called the VR show, and let's just have a quick beat.
VR games give VR a bad rep. If you want to take one look at literally every meta showcase that happens, like the one that just happened, you can see for yourself how disappointed people get. But it's kind of for a good reason. Games just don't do VR justice. I'm not that interested into fantastical worlds that twist your emotions so tight that when you take off your headset, you just stare at the ceiling for an hour contemplating event plays out at the exit.
Okay, I'm flashing through this.
Used for anything though, music and comics included. In the future, I'd expect before the live performance section. However,
now that's only about it's about 11 minutes long, to be honest, which is not a marathon, but I'm not going to play it there. I'm just the reason for flicking through is to just give you a vague idea of what it covers, which is quite a lot. I quite enjoyed that one. Now, this other new one is called VinSource Vinny VR TV. And somebody's been that's such an obvious nick of the original MTV logo. Except VR is 2 letters, not 1. But anyway, this is 20 minutes.
I've ended up in a ball pit of some kind. I think it's a Cardassian mind prison. I don't know what to do. I've been wandering around for hours.
Yeah, we'll get
I
on
can't
with
find
it.
any.
We don't.
Playground, monkey bars. This definitely is a Cardassian prison. I haven't seen
O'Brien keeps getting himself into these wacky.
Right. It's not all like that. It's a flick it
O'Brien
through.
keeps getting himself into these wacky situations, huh? Oh.
It's the cleanup crew.
I think I need a snake avatar so I can do a diaper chief bit.
Interesting. To go like down and then up again to get to the thing.
But
anyway, it's basically jumping all over the place in VR things and just filming them and putting commentary on it. It's I bet anybody who uses a Zuckerberg helmet presumably knows what the feeling of being in these worlds that way is, and it's pretty good filming quality, and the fact it actually covers quite a lot. I'm not sure about that introduction. I guess oh come on, get on with it. I'm in my dark room and I don't know where I am. I'm gonna get out of here. We don't know that. He thinks we do, but we don't. But anyway, fairly interesting stuff there. Right, 3 days ago, this was a Metaverse interoperability panel that was UW. This was the United. Oh God, I think this is another one. Eva was at.
And Ting Pang, who will be moderating, who's a CMO at Across the Ages.
Bit of a feeble clap there. Oh, maybe it's a different one. There were several.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you this morning?
Good. Okay.
Good morning. And thank you, Kim.
This UAE, by the way, is United Arab Emirates, which is where this conference and panel took place. I know, I'm sure this is the one in Dubai that Eva Henning was at, but there were several different panels, and this clearly is not one that she was on. I think we've got another one coming up. Oh, a lot of people on Twitter were going on about moving to Mastodon and stuff like that. So I just helpfully posted what's called a 2 bookmarker. In other words, it's a quick button you can put in your bar in your browser, and it allows you to send a link to Mastodon just in the same way that you might send a link to Twitter. So I've just been my helpful self posting that on the feed just for people who might be saying to themselves, God, this is too difficult. Right, okay, so let me see. Another one, InnoVision, Metaverse Infinite Possibilities. This was on April 29th, InnoVision. This is 2.5 hours long.
For the Metaverse, so we definitely...
Okay, as you can see, there's a lot of presentation sort of stuff with voiceover. But there's a lot of it here, and it's not all one person. It really is a sort of like this is
on your like YouTube account, and also get you like airport launch.
So some bits of it are in Zoom as well. So right mix up. So when you say, well, I say it's when I say it's 2.5 hours, I don't mean it's 2.5 hours of the same thing. It's 2.5 hour broadcast of many different aspects of them talking about the metaverse there. Right. Oh yeah, All Night. This was in Portland in America, as opposed to all the other cities around the world where they happen. So this is the most recent one a few days ago. And
very happy to see you and very excited to be here.
College in Atlanta, Georgia, and her research.
Okay, I think there's more than the two of them, but
So let's go ahead and watch that video, and we'll start our presentation. I'm gonna double check.
Okay, basically all nights, wherever they are in the world, you know, they're kind of local versions of the All Convention, augmented world, and you know, they're like social meetups and discussions and things. So that's what you know. These are just video records of all that chat, but you know, it's quite interesting. That was in Portland, as you can see. They've got the one from Florence, Italy, with Tony Pittolo there. The one from LA and one from New York City. So they happen all over the place. And oh well, we're getting to the point where we're getting to the one that James probably knows about, or but may not. Okay. Any thoughts on this one? Hand it to you this time, I think.
Yeah, it was a good episode. I mean, honestly, they covered just in more detail things you've already covered, and so you know about the Project Cambria, the new release of headsets from Meta, and in fact, in addition to Cambria, there's probably going to be a couple more headsets coming in the year. So lots of movement there, technology-wise. They also talked. Oh, they did talk about. They somehow got some information. I think it was probably in a press, you know, financial release. But they talked about Meta's earnings in terms of the Reality Labs, and they were doing extraordinarily well. So you know, even though Facebook was losing money, Meta's doing quite well.
Interesting.
Yep.
Because other people are actually saying that all the Meta projects are actually becoming a financial drain on the parent company.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you know the old Facebook is it's losing money, but compared with before, but it's sort of stable.
Yeah, I think the numbers might be telling a different story.
Yeah, it's you know, it's all about given the amount of money they're spending, right?
Yep.
Then the income you would expect to be very high. What the exact figures are when you take the income from the expenditure and try and measure that as profit or whatever, much more difficult, especially as the whole thing is a long-term venture, which now apparently will last to 2030. So go figure.
And I certainly wouldn't know because James doesn't speak money. So.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I pick up on some of this stuff, but you know, generally speaking, I mean, that's why I'm so keen on the open metaverse and open source and stuff like that. You know, I just get fed up with the whole world running on money, especially money in the 21st century, which is actually virtual commodity anyway. It doesn't exist. You think it exists because you got coins and paper in your pocket and you got a plastic card that says you got money in it. But if the whole world tried to draw that money at once, it doesn't exist. You know, it's all been invented for the powers that be.
It's a social construct, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Right, 6 days ago, so I guess these two. Oh yeah, the IEEE Computer Society had a few more papers up, which and of course Weekend XR did have video last week. The other one, which I think was this week, it's showing up here at 6 days, is the Metaverse Creation Lab. It was a presentation, which is just over. This is just over half an hour long. It's difficult. Yeah. This one, I put it up because it's sort of interesting, but it's very hard to watch. They've got a bit of music in the background, which is going tuka, and then the volume of the voices is really low, and you know you're really struggling to hear what they're saying over the background music. That's the word for it, and it doesn't help. On top of that, they are all they're speaking in English, but they're not native English speakers. So you've got this accent in the voices. But worthwhile effort. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend that one for reading. Anyway, that is it. We did all our pictures and photos at the beginning, videos at the beginning, which I think actually is I'm going to do in future. And those are all the web pages and the master and post. So we have got to the conclusion of the epic MBTV news this week, and we are actually at an hour and a half this week because we had the freedom of a little extra time, which basically saved me from having a heart attack rushing through it.
Right, you give Mal an inch, he'll take a mile.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I just say it saves me having a heart attack rushing.
That's better.
That's my excuse. Be a bit more lenient with what I had. I have a few more things on the list than we normally would. But anyway, that's good. So your thoughts, James, on anything you haven't commented on so far?
I think my only thought is I'm becoming a grumpy old avatar because I am. I am very excited about virtual worlds, and it's just a thrilling idea, and I love the things that I do in them, but I get so cynical about some of the things that I see, being promoted about virtual worlds, and it's a shame. I'm very excited. I think it's just an amazing time that we live in, but the the way that people still like to take advantage of each other and mislead each other is that's difficult. But I don't I don't want to be raining on people's parades as they get excited and start promoting virtual worlds, because that's still a magical thing.
Yeah, I sort of agree. Because we've been doing this stuff for 20 years. If you count Second Life in the beginning, for me, it was longer than that for many people. It is the last few years, and I'm not really thinking of COVID period, although that should have been a boost.
Factor.
The boost actually went to other places rather than virtual worlds per se. But the formation, Facebook becoming Meta, and all this sort of stuff, and the words being hijacked for it's just a minefield to get through now, and I'm not so much cynical. I'm just downright pissed off with people who post so-called information. Let us tell you what the metaverse is. These from people who don't. Somebody on the web there is writing a sort of a 40-page document about what the metaverse is, and they don't actually know what an avatar is.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? It's like fake news. These people should not have the right to do that. But what the hell can you do in a free world? They've got this. They're going to blabber their way around, and as with Trump and all that period and everything, it's the freedom of speech is an equal place, but it's not equal, because it's the voices that shout loudest that win, and the voices that shout loudest are usually the ones with the wrong messages, if indeed they've got any true message at all.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the schoolboy playground.
The bullies on the playground.
The bullies are the most notable ones. But oddly enough, sometimes they're the ones that get the respect, because it's not actually respect. It's this, the cowering,
the fear. Right.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of debate about this recently. I was listening to something on this, and forget who was saying. I've always believed in freedom, free speech, and all that sort of stuff. But there is the question, I suppose, at the end of the day, you put the whole world in an environment of free speech, and do those that would damage the concept of free speech actually outweigh the people that are taking advantage of it, if you see what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, because you know, I don't know, somebody wants to run a totalitarian state or just town, you know, and has got ideas about controlling people, and well, it's got enough people like that around, you know. But they go on free speech, so-called free speech platforms, because they know they get the traction, they know they get the attention, and they're using a free speech platform to promote something that is the antithesis of free speech.
Right. Yep.
And yet they somehow get away with it. You know, that doesn't make me cynical. That makes me angry, really angry. But I don't know what we can do about it, because stopping it would not only be a major undertaking, but by stopping it, we would then be undermining our own concept of a free world. So, you know, it's just we're in a time and place in history at the moment where there are no easy answers.
The principles are being tested. Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, but you know, yeah, I'm cynical too. But you know, these things are what make me angry. I'm still enthusiastic about places I can pop in and meet people and jump around and enjoy things like safaris and stuff like that.
Yep.
I'm just feeling very jaded about the greater. I don't want to use the metaverse word, you know, like the woman at the beginning said. We just don't want to use that word.
Welcome to the world. We're afraid to use words.
Yeah, well, we see it's got the wrong connotations now, you know.
Right.
Sort of, just because one idiot sort of, you know, talked about his fantasy and have too much more money to back it up, you know. I don't know. It's sort of. I feel like I want to go back into what we thought the metaverse was 10 years ago. It's obviously improved since then and has extended itself, but to me, it's that concept of the metaverse that is still exciting me. All this other stuff is just hijacking the concept. It's not distorting the memories. It's like the memories are what we've got. But you know, I think it would die down. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see. There's still enough excitement to be had, but I think the open source aspect of it is probably the most crucial.
Yeah.
You know, to me. But I often look back and show my age. You know, I look back to the late 60s, early 70s, and the kind of semi-utopian ideas we had of the world then. You know, and you know how within a decade it was watered down and started becoming mainstream, and then the ideas start getting corrupted. Some continue, some don't, you know. But you know, it's like ideology can last for a long time, I suppose, but the reality doesn't last very long at all.
Right.
Gets turned on its head, and you know, I almost feel like the last 20 years ago and last 15 years from there or something has been an optimistic time of sort of thinking of the virtual worlds and social experience online and everything as being something that's going to further our lives and make it more people more equal and equitable and things. And it's just the shock of the last few years, not just the last two in COVID, but the before that too. But there's a sudden shock that realizing that you know, it's sort of the web itself has been secretly hijacked, and that's just in terms of online, you know, surveillance, really, I suppose. I mean, you know, everybody's advertising a VPN, virtual private network.
Oh, right.
Right, and in fact, the new Microsoft Edge has got its own VPN built in. But you know, this for me is daft, because a VPN means you're logging into a website in another country, and they are then monitoring everything you do, and they're telling everybody that you're in that country.
Right.
So you can watch. I in Britain can go to an American VPN and watch American programs that I can't see in the UK normally. So it bypasses that, but the VPN itself is a large web server complex that is handling all that traffic.
Mm-hmm.
So the VPN itself is just an extra stage in the spying thing. I mean,
Yep.
The VPN is spying on me, and I can be spied on by them spying on the VPN that is spying on me. It's code, it's pipes. It's,
Right.
if somebody offers you a free VPN, you can be damn sure that they're doing a Facebook on you. They're giving you a free product in return for more information than you dream, sort of thing. And Zuckerberg is just the last drop now. I look at Zuckerberg and I look at Putin, and I don't see any difference. One's in the organic world and one's in the electronic world, and they're both on the same mission to run everything.
Yep. Sure.
Unfortunately, the blood and guts damage in the real world at the moment is easier to see than the damage in the electronic world. But
right.
It's the same mindset, We should just be lucky that Facebook doesn't have any real world armies to.
No tanks. Yep.
Well, nuclear weapons or anything,
No switchblades.
I won't put it past Zuckerberg to wish he had.
Well, who knows?
I mean, sort of holding. I mean, Zuckerberg can literally hold Africa to ransom. And Africa's a problem with Russia too, because Russia's got massive interests in Africa.
Okay.
But Zuckerberg deploys these satellites and balloons and things to bring the internet connections to South Africa, to remote communities that maybe, if they're lucky, have cell phone connections, cell towers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But then he can withdraw that from the whole continent at any point. More to the point, it's just like kids that he hijacked with Facebook. There used to be kids around. You say, I don't use the internet, I use Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
As if it isn't the same thing. Well, in Africa, they sort of maybe they think they're on the internet because they've now got this wonderful satellites that beam the internet down to them, but it's not. It's beaming them Facebook. It's Zuckerberg's stuff, whatever he calls it. It's Zuckerberg is beaming down, that thing. He's making him outside, to be the the savior of the human race by providing all this stuff. But it's just a ruse to, initiate, what's the word? Not instigate, initiate himself into, the population. I don't know. So that's what makes me angry and definitely cynical.
And cynical, right?
All cynical and mostly angry, put it that way.
Yep.
So I know what you're talking about, but we stumble our way through it, sort of, it's all we can do really. But there's enough going on to be, happy with too. And when you concentrate on platforms like OpenSim here, where we broadcasting from, and similar sort of places. And places where we know the people too, so there's a lot to be optimistic about. I think, assuming that all the things we're pessimistic about don't happen. Stop it. So we carry on, and we carry on, as they say. I think things will, both the real world troubles and the online troubles are they're gonna sort themselves out
eventually.
Fairly quickly, I think. I mean, I know they're talking about a prolonged war in Europe and stuff like that, and that remains unknown. But technology, particularly, moves so fast, and I've got a feeling that some of the bigger companies, maybe even Facebook, and not to mention governments around the world, don't. They're actually way behind, where they think they're on top of all this brave new world, and they actually don't have a clue. They're just trumpeting, like in Britain here, the government saying, we want to be the Silicon Valley of Europe and lead this sort of thing.
Yep.
But you ask anybody in government exactly what and how, and so Well, I don't know. We've got somebody who knows somewhere, haven't we? It's we want to be that person, but we don't know how to do. But then how are you going to do it? I haven't got a clue.
Well, you suppose we should wrap up this episode?
Yes, well, yes, indeed. Hello, everybody. We're still here. It is so easy to suddenly forget you haven't closed the show. Yes, everybody. Well, you've really had your a lot
worldviews.
Yes, you've got the worldview there at the end. A bit of thoughts without being too overtly political. I think. I hope not. Anyway,
I think so.
Right. You've had the news. You've had an extended news this week, so count yourselves lucky. We will return with a less extended, probably, news at the same time, same place next week. And you can go to Mal Burns' channel on YouTube and watch this show and all the previous shows and some other shows too, in replay to your heart's content. If you add them all up together, they will probably keep you going for about 15 years, by which time the world would have changed. Then we'll know whether it's for better or worse. You can meanwhile just watch my channel in perpetuity. Start at the beginning and bring yourself up to date, except that then we'll be out of date, if you see what I mean. Never mind. Mal Burns at YouTube. Also, you find it embedded on blogs and Discords and posts and stuff all over the place, so no problem there. We wish you a very good week. Try and be optimistic there. Keep yourself safe. Stay online as much as you can. Stay indoors as much as you can. The spiky little thing that's invisible has not gone anywhere. It's just, it's invisible, isn't it? We're just pretending it's not there. No more monologue. Just keep yourself safe, and we will see you again next week. Hope you've enjoyed this week's roundup, and bye for now. And it's bye from James too. You should say bye more often.
Bye 2. Yep.
Yeah, all right. Bye 3. Bye 4. Bye 5. I'm saying them. Sorry. Capitalism at play there.